Alright, so we'll talk a little bit more about Mandela and then I'll continue where we were. But yeah, Mandela got thrown in jail, for protesting and trying to overthrow the government because he was fighting for equal rights for non-whites in South Africa and the apartheid laws which were racist and segregated people by race. But he got old in jail. He was there in prison for life. That's what his sentence was. This was his tiny little jail cell where he would sleep here and had this little thing. It was like not a good life for him. But after 27 years, the president of South Africa at the time, which was F.W. de Klerk, decided that he would release him. And partially was because there's also an embargo placed on South Africa. And South Africa's economy was struggling big time. Many countries did not want to trade with South Africa because they are racist. So they had a lot of pressure. And but eventually Mandela was freed. Here you see de Klerk, the president of South Africa, holding Mandela's hand up. Mandela and his wife, who was married to him the whole time that he was in jail. Here we see them kind of talking, and they got together and they started to repeal the apartheid laws together. They were like, let's get rid of these laws, let's help non-whites in South Africa. And then Mandela ran for president. Here we see all these people who were supporting him the first time, he ran for president ever. Here's a huge line in 1994. All these people waiting in line to go vote in this presidential election. Here he is voting after waiting in line. And who did he vote for? Himself. He wanted to be the president. And people running for president can vote also. So, Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, those people voted for themselves too. And in 1994, he became the first black president of South Africa. There he is. And he was there trying to help equal rights. And it was a very important moment for the history of South Africa and the history of the world. And people were cheering and very excited to have him be president. And right now, they have a stable democratic government, the strongest economy in Africa, but there's still a lot of problems. There's still a lot of economic inequality, a lot of poverty, and mostly the white people, because there's still a lot of white people in South Africa. Most of the white people have the money. And many of the rural areas where blacks live are still poor. But in 2013, December 5th, Nelson Mandela passed away. He lived around 95 years and then he died. But he's still a great hero for equal rights all over the world, just like Martin Luther King Jr. Alright, so that was it, guys. Just to recap the 4 different sections of African history. The first one was European imperialism, where Europeans came to Africa for slaves, for gold, for natural resources, to spread religion, and to become powerful. And so this lasted for a long time. They took over the whole thing, except 2 countries. It was, pretty crappy for the African people. They got sick of it, and eventually they wanted to have independence. Right, this is section 2. They started nationalist movements to gain independence, and eventually they got independence. 3 was also kind of part of nationalism. The Pan-African movement was the idea to unite Africans and all people of African descent to help Africa and help them get independence and help them, improve their living conditions. And then the 4th section was all about apartheid in South Africa. Right, the apartheid were racist laws which segregated people by race in South Africa. And then Nelson Mandela was an activist who was fighting for equal rights. He got thrown in jail for life, but 27 years later he got freed. And then him and F.W. de Klerk, the current president, got rid of the racist laws, and Nelson Mandela became the first black president in South Africa. Alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. And we'll be talking about this stuff in class. So, have a good day.